All right, it's 5:30. Let's get up and get moving. The heat's finally starting to break. It's only going to be in the mid 80s. Right now it's Thursday morning, but I have an idea that Friday I can get out in that caveman kitchen and maybe do a little grilling. So there's a few things to do in advance. Let's get started. Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
All right, normally I start the show on camera, right? But I wouldn't dare subject you people to my 5:30 a.m. bedhead puff eye. Now, I put this stock on last night. I had picked up some chicken backs. We've talked about that. 3 backs cost me $1.30. And I roasted them for about an hour in the Breville with 2 carrots, half a large onion. There's the half. And then I put them on the stove for a couple of hours low, boiled it up, put it on low. It also has fresh picked celery, and then I put the other half of the onion raw, 2 more carrots raw. It's got black peppercorn, just a quick sprig of dill. I had 1 sweet red bell pepper, well, not a whole one, a small piece of a sweet red bell pepper. Beautiful stock. And let's see, quality control here. Oh yeah, that's super rich. A nice, beautiful, rich chicken stock. I will see you folks tonight after work and talk to you a little bit more about what we're going to do with this. I never did get around to it after work. Thursday night, it's Friday morning, 5:30. TGIFF. Let's head out and get a few things out of the garden. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to get out here early, it's nice and cool out. One of the things I want to do with that stock, it's another annual. I wait for it every year. Gonna make some risotto con fiori di zucca. See all those zucchini flowers? Get out here early enough, it's still cool out. They're open. They'll start to close up and shrivel as the heat gets on. So it's a little too tight in there with foliage and whatnot to do anything practical with a camera. So I'll just get in there and grab them. Okay, look at this big beautiful batch of zucchini flowers. Still got some pollinators going in there. We'll let them do their thing. While we're out here, let's get a little bit of this rosemary for our marinade. Take a little nip off the top here. There we go. Nice fresh rosemary. Alright, let's bring this stuff back in the kitchen. But before we go in, come over here with me. I used to put impatiens in here, and the deer and groundhogs and whatever destroyed them. So I made it a little herb bed this year. Got some basil, English thyme, lemon thyme, and then I got all kinds of stuff around the bottom. A couple of different oreganos, a few different thyme, basil, tarragon. So let's get a little thyme. I'm gonna get 3 different kinds. We got this thyme. We've got, this is the creeping thyme. That should fill out the bed nicely. I have it in 3 different spots. And then up here I've got more sort of English style, and then there's some lemon thyme. Let's get a little of that. Got more rosemary there, a little tarragon. And then I got a couple of different versions of oregano. One's called hot and spicy. And I don't remember what the other one was. Where's that other oregano? Over here. So, we'll add this. Here's some more thyme. We'll add this to the rosemary. See you back in the kitchen. Nice fresh herbs. I peeled my rosemary leaves off the stem. Get a little of this thyme. Get all of this thyme. And I peeled a couple of garlic cloves, 3 to be specific, a couple. A few. All right, so let's smash the garlic. We're just going to chop all this goodness together. Rosemary, a few different varieties of thyme, 2 different varieties of oregano, and our alio. And let's get a little salt in there, a little pepper. Oh, the aroma of this is just outstanding right at the moment. Just wafting up from the cutting board. Okay. Now while the salt's there, it acts as an abrasive, so you can give it one of these with the garlic. Pull a little of that oil out of the garlic. Okay, what do we want to do with this? Well, as I said, it's Friday morning, and I need to get out of here in just about an hour. All right. Fresh herbs, garlic, salt, pepper, right? You know, all day at work, I'm going to be thinking about my risotto con fiori di zucca. And when I get home, I want to throw on some lilac wood, maybe a little apple wood, into that Weber, because I got this gorgeous flat iron steak. Let's back up. Look at the marbling in that. This is a inexpensive cut, relatively. This was, I think, $9.99 a pound. And it's a beautiful steak for grilling, but particularly for marinating. Okay? And you can get less expensive cuts. You can get a shoulder London broil for less than $10 a pound. But this has the marble that the London broil wouldn't have. So, let's get her in this bag. And in we go with all this flavor. Now, to help that make its way into that flat iron, we'll go with a little olive oil. Give it a little massage. And I think I'll go with a couple of drops of balsamic. Just a touch. And for a little extra umami, I've got my Filipino soy sauce, just a drop. And a little Thai fish sauce. This really brings the flavor. Smells nasty to the raw nose, but mixed in foods, marinades, it's truly an ancient secret ingredient. So let's close this up, get the air out, and now I'll give it the final seal all the way across. That's going in the fridge. So it'll be a good 7/16. It'll be a good 12 hours. You could marinate that overnight. A couple of hours is good. Now, took out some homemade butter. That's the chive butter. This is the regular butter from the freezer. And then I have out of the freezer, I'm gonna fire up that Weber. Let's go for a little surf and turf, right? These guys were frozen. I'm just gonna put them in the fridge. Just like that, I'll cover them with this plate. And last but not least is that gorgeous, deep, rich chicken stock we made. Now it's in the fridge. You see what happens? All the fat rises to the top. So I will just scoop that, right? Look how easy. Scoop off your fat. And as I said, I have to get to work, so I won't do this on camera. Just wanted to give you the general idea I'll get all the fat off, and then I'll put this in containers. I'll save about 4 cups for the risotto tonight. And the rest will go in the freezer. In a yogurt container, I'll fill up an ice cube tray. Always good to have the nuggets. And everything's going in the fridge. Okay, let's do a quick little recap and then I'm out the door. Tonight, grilled flat iron steak, marinating with fresh herbs and garlic. And some little bit of vinegar, soy. Beautiful. Surf and turf. Got our Gulf shrimp. Just put a cover on that. Those will go in the fridge. We picked these beautiful zucchini flowers, nice and early, so they're still wide open. Let's put this bag around them, and these will go in the fridge, and they'll still be nice and vibrant when I get home. So refrigerator, beef, fish, flowers. Took care of the stock. I got, out of that pot of stock, remember those chicken backs? $1.60. I got 2 quarts. I'll freeze one. I'll hold one for tonight for the risotto. And I got an ice cube tray. These things are great. You saute in your broccoli rabe or whatever. You toss in a couple of cubes. Beautiful. And the homemade chive butter, a little regular butter. I've got a freezer full of butter. I'm excited. So that's it. I will see you all on Friday Eve. Friday evening. TGIFF. That first F is not a typo. I'm out here in the CMK getting the Weber cranked up. We got some nice, looks like some apple wood in there. What else? What was that? Possibly some hickory. Nice dried seasoned woods. All those storms from over the years, I'm plied up with wood. So I'm gonna sit here, enjoy this cocktail. It's the same one you saw. Muddled pineapple, the coconut seltzer, a little vodka, but I did muddle in a few blueberries with this one. Very nice. Well, what I did is I got home from work. It's gorgeous out right now, but I did hear about storms, some rain, in fact, possible flash flooding going into the morning. So what I did when I got home is I did all the prep in the kitchen. And then I came out to light the fire. So all I want to do here is wait till this is safe. I wouldn't leave it flaming like this. So what I'll do is I'll turn off this camera. Once these logs start cooking down and look like they're going to go to coals, I can put the Weber lid on, open the vent wide, and walk away. And at that point, I'll see you in the kitchen. Everything's safe. Added a couple of logs, put the cover on, everything's down in the bowl of the Weber, nothing can jump out. By the time I go out, we'll have nice white hot coals to cook our steak on. But since I was just sitting there waiting, I went ahead, I brought the laptop out, went ahead and downloaded the clip, figured I'd get a jump on the editing, and I realized what a complete slob I look like. I mean, outside of the gut, which I'm working on, and I'm actually making headway. This shirt is about 40 years old, by the way. I did t-shirt art in the mid-'80s at Millman's T-Shirt Factory in Poughkeepsie. Still in business. Stuart, who runs the shop, still a good friend of mine, great musician. And I used to do the artwork. This is Clinton Drywall. I wear these shirts till they fall right off of me. It's so comfortable, but it's a mess. Clinton Drywall, all the contractors used to come in for their gag shirts. I had one, some tree guys, landscapers, let us trim your bush. They had all the sayings. This one's Clinton Drywall, hanging and banging. All right? So I used to do all the artwork, and my boy Jimbo did the printing, and we had some wild times. But anyway, it's Friday night. I'm home. I'm comfortable. I have zero agenda. Oh, well, except for 11:30 tomorrow, I'm going to my boy Saad to get this chopped off. But pardon the appearance, I'm comfortable, and I am pumped for this dinner. Let's go over to the marble and get started. Let me show you what I've got going on. Here's the steak. I took this out when I got home. You always want your meat to come back to room temperature before you cook it. Never straight out of the fridge. So let's get this out of the bag. are delicious. The marinade. This is amazing. The shrimp, what I did with the shrimp, they're going to stay shell on. I soaked one skewer. We only have 4 shrimp. I soaked this skewer. And what I did when I got home is I left the shell on. You've seen me do this before, but I cut down the back with scissors, cleaned out the vein and everything. And they've been marinating in olive oil. There's a couple of garlic cloves smashed. I picked some fresh cilantro and parsley. And in the freezer I had from last year, remember I told you about the ice cubes for the stock? Well, I also do that with various herbs, pesto and whatnot, and I had tomatillo ground up in those ice cubes. So I took 1 ice cube. So this is a kind of a salsa verde. Smells incredible. I'll skewer those up just before we take them out. So there's our surf and our turf. Now, next to the surf and turf, we're going to do the zucchini flower risotto. I took these all off the stems and we'll rough chop these. But let's get started on the rice. Let's move over to the stove. Now, we've made this zucchini flower risotto on a prior episode. It was probably quite a few years ago, two years or so. But if you want to search it, you can find it. This is not the episode. The episode is about that flat iron steak. So I figured rather than go through the whole thing on the board, I'll just talk you through the risotto as we go. Okay, so I've got the chicken stock in the back getting hot. I just turned on the front flame. I'll go medium. Pan's warming up, so I'll put a little olive oil in there. And we'll start with our onion. All risottos start the same way. And then it's just how you flavor them and what vegetable or protein you add. They all start the same way. Little oil, onion. Let the onion get sauteed a little until it's a little clear. Translucent, they say in all the culinary books. And you don't want to burn the onion. You just want to get it going. And now I'll add the rice. This is what we call toasting the rice. And what it's going to do is it's going to kind of like cook the outside, give it a little coating, which is going to allow the starches to come out at a nice, almost like think time release, right? That's the thing with risotto. It time releases the starch. That's how you get that creaminess. So what you do is you put your rice in and you keep an eye on it. If you look close enough, let me see if I can get down in there. You see these grains are still white in the back, but you see how the other ones are getting almost a grayish? That's what we'll call translucent. So you want to get all your kernels to look like that. And once you've got your rice toasted like that, I'm looking at the color now, it looks good. I'm going to go in with a 1/4 cup of Vino Bianco, white wine. This is a very inexpensive white wine that I buy from Italy. No DOC, none of that. I can't even tell you what the grape is. It's just called white wine. All right, $7. But guess what? It's quaffable. So I buy it for these purposes. Now we want the rice to drink up that wine. Now that we've toasted the outside, it's very absorbent. It wants to bring in liquid, and as it brings in liquid, it will start releasing starch. Right. Now, the idea is, see, it's almost dry again already. So let's go in with a ladle full of stock. Ladle and a half, and then what you do, I told you this on other risotto episodes, you don't want to walk away and forget about it, but that thing where you stir non-stop, not necessary. Just let it begin to drink in the rice. You give it a little stir every now and then. The main thing is you don't want it sticking to the bottom of the pot and burning. That's very important. But you don't have to stir like a mad person without stopping. I don't know where that came from. You'll know when it wants more liquid. It's going to dry up. Okay, and this does take a little while, 15 minutes or so. So we're not going to roll the whole time. I'll put another ladle and I'll continue this process, and I'll turn back on when we're getting ready to start to season and put the flours in. I'll let you know when that is. Okay, quick tip. Actually, a couple of tips here. One is, if you notice, I'm not using a wooden spoon. I'm using this tall, straight-sided stock pot, saucepan, and I like to use these paddles, square. This way I can go all around and no piece of rice is going to get stuck, right? I can go flat around the whole bottom of the pot. And the second tip is, I need to go out and check the fire. I checked it once, but unless you're in the highest end Italian restaurant, very rarely is your risotto being made to order, okay? What they do is during the morning prep, they make a big batch of risotto and they cook it part way. This is already super delicious. It's still way al dente, but the starch is coming out. It's got a creaminess. The outside is softening. So I actually turned it off. What they'll do is they'll cook it to about this stage in a restaurant, and then they'll put it out on big sheet pans and fan it down. They'll immediately cool it to stop that starch release. And then when you place an order, they put the amount of your order in and they finish it up. So I turned everything off here. We're fine. I'm going to go check on the fire. It's a little tricky running in and out to do the steak and the shrimp and then doing this here, but I've got it covered. And then when I come in, once I put the steak on, because we're using the meter, so I can keep an eye on the steak from in here. Once I put the steak on the Weber, we'll put the flours in and finish up the risotto. I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, the fire is looking dandy. So let's do this. Let's get our zucchini flowers in this risotto. Oh, this is one of my favorites. So many risottos I love. Shrimp, mixed seafood. I love the simple risotto alla Milanese with saffron with an ossobuco. But this is one of my favorites. Asparagus with lemon. Risotto is so versatile. And what we're going to do is, once the butter and cheese goes in, let's season now, a little salt. Once the butter and cheese goes in at the end, you turn off the heat, you cover it, and you just let it kind of sit and rest. So that's when we'll run out to the Weber and pop our steak on. Because this can sit for a while, it stays warm. You can eat risotto room temperature. So let's finish her up, and then we'll head out to the Weber. It's already getting very al dente, nice and creamy. Oh, the salt, see? I say it every show. And that chicken stock with the roasted backs, I've said this for many, many years, decades. I always said to people, risotto, it's all about the stock. Seafood risotto needs a nice shrimp shell or fish stock, lobster shell stock. These risottos, nice chicken stock, beef bones. This is almost done. Yeah. So good. The salt is amazing. And I didn't go crazy because I'm going to put Parmigiano Reggiano, which also has a salt factor. I think we're ready to wrap this risotto up. There's only a pinch of stock left, so let's put it in. Use it up. That'll get absorbed. Go around the rim, right, with the flat, every grain of rice. Told you that about the Japanese chef who said that. Every grain of rice. Okay, we've reached our starch level, our creaminess. Actually going to turn the heat up a little to finish that absorption of the stock. And now, Parmigiano Reggiano. Be generous. This could be Romano, Pecorino, this could be Locatelli. In most of my risottos, I prefer a good Parmigiano Reggiano. Be generous. And then the butter, and I believe for this, I'm opting for the chive butter. I think that'll add a nice finish. Homemade chive butter. I'm going to be generous with that as well. And now I'll turn off the heat. I'm not even going to taste it. I want the surprise. I'm going to put a cover on. Let's go out to the grill. All right, let's get her on. I've got the meter set up. This is already cleaned, scrubbed. I've got the meter set up for 135. And as you can see, I'm going indirect because I don't want any big flare-ups. We'll put the shrimp on in a bit because they're only going to take a couple of minutes. Now, let me turn off the camera because I have to go to the meter. Okay, the meter is just hitting 90 degrees. We're shooting for 135. As you can see, it was crawling up pretty slow with the indirect, so I moved it right over the heat. So let's flip. And at this point, I think I can put my shrimp on. Let's get a little verde on those. Keep them nice and moist. Remember, they still have the shell on. And the rest of our marinade will pop on the flat iron. We'll be bringing this into the kitchen momentarily to slice her up. Steak's at about 112 and climbing steadily. Got about 2 minutes left, which means I put the shrimp on with perfect timing. A little more verde on this side. Okay, I just got the notice. Flank steak is ready for resting. This little beauty of a device tells you everything you need to know. Shrimp. Alright, back to the kitchen. See you there. I am so psyched. And guess what? No storms, at least as of yet. I see clouds over the Catskill Mountains, but clear here. Beautiful evening. I'm dining al fresco. Saluti. I only had the one cocktail to cook with. With this beautiful steak, I got myself a nice Old Vine Zin from Lodi, California. And I rarely break these Riedel out. These were a gift from my buddy Michael on his visit. Thank you, buddy. And they shouldn't be outside, but I only break them out for certain lines. So let's get to the marble and plate this up. Let's get a little risotto on here. Still hot. Very hot, actually. That's why you just put the cover on. It's very similar to the steak. It just wants to rest. Oh, this is so good. Let's get our shrimp. And I'll just start with 2. I don't want to act gluttony. Who knows? Maybe I'll leave them for tomorrow. Yeah, right. Start with 2, and let's slice this flat iron and see how we did, courtesy the meter. We want to go across the grain, as always. I can see the grain going like that, so I am going to slice like so. Oh, baby. Yeah. Flat iron. Surf and turf, y'all. Rare to medium rare. Somebody around here is having steak and eggs in the morning. Let's plate it up. Not going to try to get too fancy. That looks like a Friday night supper. I have a soul one around here. Let's bring that to the patio. Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
Friday night, al fresco. Well, the episode was about the flat iron, so let me start there. But I am pumped for this risotto. I put a little bit of the salsa verde on top of the steak. Unbelievable. A little bit of lemon on everything. I garnished the plate with another male zucchini flower. Here's the plate. I took a little shot for the IG. Risotto con fiori di zucca. The flowers, the male flowers of the zucchini plant. Not going to say anything. There's nothing to say. And the shrimp, marinated for a good hour or so in salsa verde, last summer's tomatillos, freshly picked cilantro and parsley, garlic, salt, pepper, a little lemon juice. This is incredible. Oh, that's a plane. I thought I heard thunder in the distance. This meal is so good. The show might get a little long. I'm going to sign off. But this meal is so good that I'm going to follow it up with a special treat. I'll see you right after I eat. Back at the garden. That was spectacular. I tell you what, though, after cooking on that Weber and everything, I need a shower. Friday night shower. For my haircut with Saad tomorrow. But, let me get this while there's still daylight, because it's probably going to be dark by the time I shower. Special dinner like that deserves a special after-dinner treat. I've been eyeballing this all week. I think the time has arrived. That one guy is ready. I can tell just by looking at it. Let's get in there and grab them. This is called the Three Sisters method. I've got corn, squash, zucchini, and blue Hubbard, and green beans. They all symbiotically work together. Although I'm not getting a lot of squash. I had all those flowers. I don't know if it's the sun out here or what. This guy, though, you can see most of the silks are gone. So that means it's time to yank. My first ear of the season. I haven't grown corn in over 10 years. I'm completely psyched, and I got a lot coming. All right, into the kitchen. Oh, I got a quick shower in, but it was just like a 3-minute rinse, because I'm pretty crazy about corn. Once it comes off that stalk, those sugars start going to starch immediately. I used to just stand out there and eat it right off the stalk. And by the way, I saw this from a woman on IG today who was saying don't boil in a big pot of water. Too much leach of nutrients, flavor, etc. She said 2 minutes in about an inch of water or less to steam. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm not even bothering to set the tripod up for this. I'm going straight to it. 2 minutes, not even. Shallow water boiling. I put a couple of grains of salt. Now I could do this plain. Like I said, I used to go out there and eat them off the stalk plain, but I have the homemade butter. Why not? And I almost went for the chive butter for this. But I don't want to mess with it. I want to taste corn more than almost anything. A little butter, maybe just a grain or two of sale. First ear of 2024. By the way, I did not eat those other shrimp. We got feasting for tomorrow. Ooh, this is hot. I got a towel here. Yes. 2024. I haven't grown corn in a dozen years or more. So worth it. You're not getting corn like that at the market. It's just been sitting too long. Pure sugar. See you all for the next episode.
Come on.